Yes, guys, how are we doing? Spurs Live here. We are back with a new, magnificent, amazing, whatever adjectives you want to use, live stream. Now, let's add the man, the myth, the legend, the man of the moment, Spurs News 17. Let's just add him. Yo, Gareth, what's up? How you doing? Good to see you.
Josh, what's happening, brother?
All good, all good. Can't lie, I've been waiting to do this live, and I think this is going to be an amazing live stream. I think we're going to brutally rate these Tottenham players. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, let's do it, man. Some of them are going to be better than others, but
100%.
what's said is what's said. Let's go.
Before we start, Gareth, where can everyone find you? Just before we start, so if they do enjoy the content, they know where to find you.
So all my content is based on Instagram mostly. Spurs News 17, a lot of in-depth analysis, past players, edits, predictions, everything Tottenham really.
Fantastic, brilliant. Well, I think we've covered that bit, and let's just get straight into it. Like, right, Gareth. We will start.
Matchmaker, love this. Cheers.
Look. I prepared this serious. Okay, so top season. You know, someone who's had a top season, they go into that category. Very good is into the second category. Solid season. Someone's not been amazing, just done his job. Poor, and then not quite there. Wasn't his season. Now, obviously, we've got the loan players. We've got the new signings. So the new signings and loan players, I left them to the end because we can't really rank them just yet. But I think for the players we can rank, let's go for it. So, Gareth, let's start with Romero. What do you make out of Romero's season so far? So we're talking about since the beginning of the season, not a year, the season. I mean, what do you think of him,
mate? To be fair, all of us can probably say that talking about Romero, he's absolute class. If not, he's our best defender that we currently have. Without Romero, we tend to obviously compare a lot of defenders that we want and what we have to Romero. So me personally, it has to be top season. He's our best defender.
I think that one's straightforward. I think he's having a top season. I mean, look, what do you think of this? Because especially last game against West Ham, and in general, whenever he sometimes is a bit too aggressive, though. Do you think that as well? I mean, sometimes a bit too aggressive, and I feel like with experience, he'll learn how to not be so aggressive. I mean, what do you think of him with his aggressiveness? Are you up for it? Do you not like that?
I like it, mate. Honestly, I think it's what we need. We need a bit of. I get, he gives away like careless yellows, but it's just the player he is. He's aggressive. He's strong. When he gets it right, he obviously folds people. But with that, when he gets it wrong, he's going to pick up a yellow. I believe he picked up a yellow against West Ham fairly early on, which is a bit of a liability. But him as a player and his style of play, I'm happy with that. I want him to continue. I don't want this. You look at Dyer backing off and all of that, and it costs us with Romero. Yeah, he might get the odd yellow card, and obviously sometimes get sent off, which he has the past few weeks ago. I think he got 2 yellows and got sent off.
Yeah.
But no, that's the defender we need. We need someone who's got a presence, who intimidates the players. He's got a bit of an attitude about him. No,
I mean,
keep
look,
going. Keep
I
going.
would I would rather have someone that aggressive than have someone who makes mistakes like Eric Dyer. I mean, we'll come up to him for a second in a second, but I feel like the Romero really shows what we're missing in the aggressiveness, especially in the middle of the park. The midfield area is lacking aggression. Yeah, Hoiberg brings it, but I feel like we need more. So I think I completely agree with you. Top season for Cuti Romero. Now, Oliver Skip. I mean, this is an interesting one because what did you actually expect Oliver Skip to do this season? Did you expect him to start because Bentancur and Højbjerg are in the team? Did you expect him to be on a bench and come on when a player's injured like he's done this season? I mean, did he get to his standards that you expected him to get to the season? It's an interesting question. This one, isn't it?
Well, yeah, no, and I agree. And but prior to obviously the season starting, obviously we loaned out Harry Winks because Conte preferred Skip over him.
Yeah,
So which makes me think that Skip had the opportunity to perform. Obviously, he's been out injured for some time, and he's obviously nursing that injury. He's finally coming back to full fitness. So
yeah.
it is a hard one to judge. I wouldn't say poor as such, but I'll probably, if I had to choose, I'll say not quite there yet, purely because we haven't seen enough of him.
Yeah, look, I think this really comes down to what you personally expected from Skippy. I mean, I'll be honest, I expected him to fight for a starting spot, and the reason why I'm going to go as well with not quite there because I expect him to go for a starting spot. He's at the time. How old is Oliver Skip? What Oliver
Well,
Skip is?
I think he's mid
Um,
twenties.
he's
I think he's
yeah,
still fairly
22
young.
years old. 22 years
Oh
old.
yeah, not
He's
even mid twenties. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, look, he's extremely young, and I feel like now is a time where he should fight for his place at Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, especially in that period of time where, I mean, you had the whole, oh, should we play three in midfield? Should we not play three in midfield? I think Oliver Skip would be a perfect player on his day for Tottenham Hotspur. But the problem is that he doesn't always perform as well as expected for him. So I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to say not quite there, simply because of my expectations for the player himself, and not due to what I thought he was like. Just not what I thought he was going to bring this season. That's just a simple reason why I'm not quite there. Anything else to add on for Oliver Skip?
No, but I've never been his biggest fan, to be quite honest with you.
Okay.
I find him very um, rigid, very like he hasn't got his movement seems very rough. I don't know how to describe it, but
Yeah. No,
it's
I
not
get you.
like
Okay.
fluid motion.
Yeah.
Obviously, when he was loaned to Norwich, he done really well. But of
Yeah.
course he would be because the rest of them are not particularly great. So of course he's going to stand out. But overall, is he the player we need pushing forward? No. You can't really compare Skip to Bentancur and Højbjerg. Me personally,
100%.
anyway. I don't think he's nowhere near their level.
100% agree. And I want to put out that point where you said attacking wise, he's not the player. And I 100% agree. I feel like, especially with two in the midfield, attackingly, he doesn't offer the options that Bentancur offers going forward. So look, I 100% agree with you. Now, this is something we might have a little disagreement. I don't know. What about Pierre-Emile Højbjerg? Next one in line, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. I'll start with this one.
Okay.
I think personally, he's having a top season. Now, the reason why is because he's banging in goals for Tottenham Hotspur at times, at crucial times where we need. Okay, he's not. He's maybe not as fluid on the ball as last season he was, but and the times that we need him to perform, I think he has performed this season. What do you think of PML Højbjerg? Do you think? I mean, yeah. What do you think? Where do you think he goes? Because I mean, wait. Do we agree that it's between top season and very good?
No, I agree. Exactly what you said. I'll say top
Yeah,
season. And the reason I say that is if you look back at his stats, I think he scored more goals this season than what he's ever done for Spurs.
yeah,
It's just his determination and his pure leadership qualities makes him that top player as well. Yeah, he's not technically brilliant compared to the rest. I get that.
yeah.
He's even said it himself. But when you look at him as a player, um, obviously Lloris is. We get onto Lloris, but the short one is the likelihood is he will be replaced next season. But with that being said, if Kane he's likely to get the captaincy, I would like to see Højbjerg get vice captaincy because I think he's that player that controls the midfield. He's very vocal. He's in people's faces, and that's what you need.
100% agree. 100% agree. I just want to go back. Can we go back to the stats thing that you said?
Yep.
The goals he scored this last season sorry, 2 seasons ago he scored 2 goals.
Yep.
Last season he scored 2 goals, and this season he scored 4 goals.
Exactly.
And he's made 3 assists already. I mean, we're talking about a player that's not a creative player. I mean, I'm sorry, as much as you might want to say, as much as fans will want to say that he's a creative player, he's not a creative player. He's brought in to simply fill the role of Wanyama / Eric Dyer in the past with the CDM role, really sitting comfortably in that CDM role with defending their back line and moving the ball forward. But creatively, that's not what we brought him in for. And now that he's been getting, he scored 4 goals. And if I'm correct, there's 4 crucial goals that he scored. I mean, he's in there in the right time. Now, okay, so Reguilon, we will go back. Well, there's not much to say about him. He's on loan. Brian Gill on loan. I mean, unless you want to say something about Brian Gill and Sergio Reguilon, I'm not too sure if you want to.
Yeah, not necessarily Reguilon because I think it'll be unfair to say anything with regards to him because I mean he's obviously had that injury and he's just slowly but surely starting to make a few appearances for Atletico. So yeah, I can't really judge his season. That wouldn't be fair. But with regards to Gill, I am a bit disappointed that we loaned him out. He had a few good games prior to that loan, and I thought he's a player because we were looking down the right. Obviously, we wanted to back up Kulusevski, and Brian Gill were given the opportunity when Kulusevski was out injured. I thought he'd done really well. I genuinely thought he put in some solid performances. Yes, his physicality ain't the best, which is probably his only really weakness. But when you look at the boy, he's always running. He's always giving it his all. And technically, he's a skillful player. So, it's me personally, I think we should have kept him.
I mean, look, I think in a way, I feel like in La Liga he's gonna smash it because he doesn't need that physicality that the Premier League addresses. Where people in Premier League need physicality. Whether you're the tallest, whether you're the shortest, you need to have you have to have the physical ability to play in the Premier League. Not everyone has it. Brian Gill is a perfect example of someone who does not have the physical attribute to play in the Premier League. And I feel like in La Liga he will smash it in La Liga, in my opinion. I mean, so far, I agree with you. I think he's been poor this season. I mean, look, no, I don't know what you said. Sorry, I can't remember what you said.
Yeah, I wouldn't say poor. I think again, I mean, considering the amount of time he's actually had on the pitch, it's quite hard to say. I think if he stayed for the rest of the season and he got game time, I think he could be solid at least. He could be a good sub off of the bench, come out on the right. But we will never know. So for that, with that being said, if I was to put Gill anywhere, it's not quite there purely because, well, we don't know. He's had 2-3 decent games, but that's about it.
I mean, look, but I've got a question. Here's the question: if it's based on this season, when he's come in, has he shown you something that you've been impressed on? And then think about the positiveness about the positivity about Brian Gill and the negative. What outweighs? Because for me personally, I feel like the negatives and the cons outweigh the pros for Brian Gill. That's personally for me. That's why I would put him in poor, because I think when he comes in for Tottenham Hotspur, he maybe the technical ability he's got, but the physicality that the Premier League that for example when we face oppositions with basic fullbacks, not even that physical, they get easily beaten. Brian Gill gets beaten all the time. I mean, so that's why I put him in poor. Are you saying not quite there yet?
I'm saying not quite there yet, not because he's lower than Paul, purely because I haven't seen enough of him. When we talk about physicality, obviously I did a post today with regards to Luka Modric, and he still
Yeah.
is. He hasn't got great physicality. He's tiny, but
Yeah.
he's one of the world's best. Easy,
Yeah.
easy. And with obviously Brian Gill, he was brought in when it comes to his actual athleticism, if that's how you want to say it. When he
Yeah.
started with pre-match or pre-season workout or training, he was smashing it. I think he was one of the fastest, most fittest players. So I expected big things of him. Yeah, physicality needs to move on, or
Yeah.
work on, should I say? But I wouldn't say he's poor. But the reason I'm going not quite sure is because I don't think I've seen enough of him to make a an accurate decision.
You know what? I'm gonna slightly agree with you here. Not 100%, but I'm gonna slightly agree with you just because I feel like poor would mean that when he's played, he's been poor. I feel like when he's played, he's been okay, but he hasn't quite hit the mark yet. So you know what? I'm gonna agree with you there. But on this one, I think we can definitely agree on. We have to agree on this one. Hugo Lloris. I mean, uh, start. Well, what do you have to say about Hugo Lloris?
Not much, really. Time to go. We love him to bits. Obviously, we appreciate his time. Obviously, he's our captain, which I don't agree on. He hasn't got the attributes for captaincy. He's not
Yeah,
vocal enough. He don't come out and speak to the fans post match when we get battered by this team or that team. Or you never see the boy chatting. You never see him come out and actually speak to the fans or speak to the telly or reporters or anything like that. That's not what a captain does. A captain's supposed to be representing the team, being the first to step
on and off
forward.
the pitch.
Yeah, on and off, yeah. But even on the field, um, whenever the camera goes to him or you watch him, yeah, when it's a corner, he might do what a normal goalkeeper should do. Um, but there's no real. That's what I'm saying. When we spoke about Hoiberg, it's about that get in your face, that presence, and I don't think Loris has it.
Yeah. Look, I mean, the one time that I remember him actually putting on a captain face was, do you remember the Sonny incident where he runs up to Sonny and starts shouting at him? That for me, I didn't take it as a negative. I took it as a wow, Lloris, fantastic, well done. I mean, the way he ran up to Son and told him come back to defend, that is what a captain would do. But the
Yeah,
difference is Hoiberg would do that every single match, whilst Hugo
exactly.
Lloris would do it once in a game, once in a lifetime. I
Yeah,
mean, there's a big difference here between what Hugo Lloris needs to be and what he actually is.
yeah,
Based on performance itself, I mean, he's been a shocker this season.
yeah,
I've been the one to back him throughout a lot of seasons, the past maybe 2-3 seasons where he's been getting a lot of criticism. I've been backing him all the time, and rightly so. I think now is when we're starting to see his true colors. I mean, he's starting to come out now with all these horrible saves, horrible passings, trying to cross the ball. I mean, basic things that a goalkeeper should do. Can we agree on Paul? I mean,
definitely. I mean, considering he's world class status, France's number one, etc., etc. But there's so many times when he could have caught the ball and he's parried it, and especially with playing at his feet, he's not a goalkeeper that can play with his feet. He looks very
yeah,
awkward. He's not fast at all. And then also was some time ago before he got injured. He is the player that's created the most individual errors in the Premier League, leading to a goal. Um, which is our goalkeeper. That's not what you want your goalkeeper to do. Um, so yeah, no, I completely agree. He's
I mean,
poor, really bad.
that's also when we're speaking about a goalkeeper, not of like, no offense, Southampton or Crystal Palace. We're talking about a goalkeeper that, we class as ourselves a top six team in the Premier League. How can a goalkeeper in that top six of the Premier League make that many mistakes? I mean, there's a
Yeah.
problem there, and hopefully we can resolve it. I mean, what's going on with the Pickford news now? How do you signing a new contract?
Yeah, I mean, it don't bother me to be quite honest. Yeah, because when it comes to Pickford, he would have been my first choice to be quite honest. Yeah, he's the sort of player when you say command in the box. I like his attitude and I like the person he is, how he commands the box. I get that. I'm just not his biggest fan. Yeah, he's having an okay season or he's had a decent season. He played well for England. Um, but like on my
Yeah,
posts, I've always said that if I had to choose someone, I'd probably go for David Raya of Brentford.
yeah.
or is it Roberto or Robert Sanchez of Brighton?
I
They're
think
very
it's
good. Yeah, they're
yeah,
very good at their feet. Very good at their feet. Their distribution is very good as
yeah.
well.
What about that guy from Borussia something Borussia Mandela something like that?
Mönchengladbach and
Yes,
Mönchengladbach.
I can't pronounce the names. Well,
Is
I'm just looking at it now. Where
it's
is it?
because we recently been linked with the Turkish goalkeeper. Is
Yeah,
it? Yeah,
Altay Bayindir.
yeah. I personally can't say much about him because I don't know much about him.
Yeah,
Um, but then again, that's what I'm saying. It's been a Spurs fan for long enough. I mean, we linked with half the world's population, um, and that's what I'm saying. It's quite it's a bit of a calamity. I mean, we get linked with so many players, and we end up buying
no,
hardly none of them. So with regards to, I'll take that with a pinch of salt. But with
yeah,
regards to Brentford, obviously Brentford, it makes sense. Raya, he's at
I'd love
Brentford. Yeah,
Raya.
they will stay up. Um, his contract's coming to an end. I
Yeah,
think is he got a year left
I think he's
come the
got.
summer?
Uh, I think so.
Yeah, I think his contract's there or thereabout. So I mean, the likelihood is, I think even Brentford said
Yeah,
they're looking to.
it ends in the summer of 2024.
So yeah, so you'll have a year left. So if Brentford, if they can't tie him down to a new deal, which I don't think they will, because
Yeah, I
there's
don't
obviously
believe they
bigger
can as
clubs
well.
that would want him and they would like to move on. I'd honestly think he'd move in the summer because they don't want to wait for January. Because if they wait for January, um, you can
That's
obviously
another.
sign a free.
That's another 10 goals getting conceded because of a goalkeeper.
Yeah, and they could potentially lose him on a free because obviously you
Yeah,
can sign a pre agreement come January, or they'll sell him for absolute peanuts. So with that being said, if they can't tie him down soon, I think he'll move this summer.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Now next up, we're gonna skip Tanguy Ndombele. Ben Davis. Oh, Ben Davis. I mean, let's just remind ourselves he plays as a left centre back. He's playing out of position. He is a. I mean, what's he really done this season? I mean, trying to bring up the stats. Let's see. I mean, Ben Davis. Uh, wow, bloody hell, what's he done? 2 goals and 2 assists. That's more than any season except for 17-18 of his.
I mean, when we talk about Ben Davies, he's always, like I've said before, he's been around the club or he's been within the club for a very long time, but he's no one that really stands out
Yeah,
as someone you remember. I mean, yeah, he had a class game at the weekend against West Ham. He got the assist with Emerson, and yeah, he had a solid performance. But he played on the left, which I really liked. I prefer him on the left wing rather than as left centre back.
okay,
But
yeah.
with that being said, he's more of like a fodder. He's there.
Yeah.
Can we improve on him? Definitely. But with regards to his season, I would say solid. I would say solid. I wouldn't say poor. I mean, he hasn't been terrible, but he hasn't been
Yeah.
very good neither. He's been average, but that's the sort of player he's been. He don't stand
Yeah,
out much.
I mean, when you think about it, I'm thinking just based on defensive ability itself, I think he's been decent. I mean, he's been very average on defending, but when you want to progress the ball forward, he does those amazing overlaps, yet can't cross the damn ball for his life. He can't make a good cross. He can't. I mean, I would have to say solid just because there's no other option. But if there
Yeah,
was an option between solid and poor in the middle, there
yeah,
I'll stick it right there. But
yeah.
I
No, I
think I
agree.
think solid is fair enough. And then yeah, Ben Davis. That's really it for Ben Davis. Honestly, I think we need to improve on their left centre back.
Definitely. Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
all right, the man, the myth, the legend, Harry Kane.
Oh,
Go
mate,
on.
we're not even going to spend too much time chatting about him. There's no need. Everyone knows the deal. We don't have to repeat ourselves. I mean, he's a club legend. He's one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
Simple as.
I think many people are underrating his season currently. I mean, if people weren't speaking about Haaland all day, they'll be
Exactly.
speaking
Yeah.
about Harry Kane because
Yeah.
he's having a magnificent season for Tottenham
Yeah.
Hotspur, a struggling side this season with all the injuries we've been getting. I think that's a really easy one. We can move straight on
Yeah.
to Ivan Perisic. Now, this one lately on the media, on the social media, has caused some attention due to the fact that a lot of people, including Henry Wright, has been telling people that his opinion, obviously saying that Ivan Perisic has not been good enough. The fact is, except for his crossing ability, he
Mhm.
is absolutely just crap. He can't defend for his life. He can't run. He can't do anything. I, I agree in a way, but I disagree because I feel like he brings that experience to the side that no one else has. But what do you think? Do you think he's had a solid season or very good? I personally would say solid. What do you think?
I personally, knowing Perisic for some time and knowing the qualities he can bring to a team, what I've seen this season, I put him as poor. Purely
Wow.
because,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll say poor. I mean, I was excited when he was coming because I knew that the quality he had as a player, but he's failed to produce any of that this season. Um,
Yeah.
he hasn't scored a goal, which I think that there was a stat where this is the first time he's not scored in the first half of a season for however long. Yeah, his crossing's good,
Bloody
but
hell.
his link up play is just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think if he had his opportunity, he should have come to the Prem when he was younger. I think he's left it a bit late. Um,
I'm
yeah,
putting him.
again,
I'm putting him to poor as well. I'm looking now at the stats. Oh my
what's he
days!
done? That's what I'm saying. What's he actually done? He's done nothing. He
Let,
hasn't scored a
let's
goal.
see
I
if I
think
can
he's had a
bring this up.
couple assists, if that.
That is mental. Let me bring this up because this is gonna blow your mind. How I don't understand how I mean, looking at this, um, I'll share the screen. Um, where is it? I mean, this is actually crazy. Where's the? I mean, the stats that he's got on Inter itself is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Come on, sorry, let's go get the stats. There it is. Done. Oh, hi. Here we go. If not, I'll just tell you off by heart. All right. So basically, he's got 8 goals, 4 goals in 2021. Okay, I'll say a goals to assists. 8 goals, 7 assists in his last season for Inter. 4 goals and 4 assists in his last 2 seasons for Inter. 8 goals and 3 assists in 2018-19. 11 goals and 9 assists in 2017-18. I mean, this is a player where to be honest, I didn't look at his stats beforehand. I just knew out of his basic football ability, and I knew he was a fantastic player. I mean, just on those stats, you would expect him to be
Yeah.
producing, and especially the times he's been up in front of goal, you'd expect him to convert those chances. I mean, I 100% agree with you now. Poor, poor, poor.
What's his stats this season then for Spurs?
This season, he's had 0 goals and 5 assists, which basically means he's got two assists less than what he got in his final year in Inter. And yeah,
See,
that
yeah,
is
I mean,
yeah,
5 assists, yeah, it's good. Like, I mean, I'll take 5 assists, but I mean, overall, I just think he's been poor as a player, especially when it comes to tracking back and defending.
yeah,
Um, he's been caught out a lot of the time, and that's beginning to show because he's lost his place at the weekend. Davies obviously started on left wing, which he performed really well. But
yeah.
that's the reason I'm saying poor is purely because we had so much heart for Perisic coming in, knowing what he can do and the quality of player he is, and he's just not shown it.
I mean, I just want to add one more thing on that is the fact that, we're talking about a player who's not playing in a left back. He's not playing as a left wing. He's playing as a left wing back, which basically means he will be getting the ball and it's up to him to be assisting. So he should be getting 5 assists. We shouldn't be surprised of him getting 5 assists. He should be getting 5 assists. Emerson Royale should be getting 5 assists as well. But they're not. So, I mean, Perisic just now got 5 assists, but whatever. Point is, they should be getting more than 5 assists if the whole play is going down them. So I think Paul is fair enough. Thanks for enlightening me on that play itself. Now, Svein Sessegnon.
Just quick one, Josh. Sorry, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening with my mic, but it's really.
We can hear you perfectly.
Can you hear me? Because when you coming through, it's really like there's a lot of like background noise. I'm getting old, bro, so I don't know how to work the technology, but
it's all good, all good. Let's see.
Hold on.
How about this? Is this better?
Let me
see what's happening.
Oh. Hello?
Yeah, you there?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, I can sort of it's like really crackly. I don't know what's happened, man. Oi.
How's this? You good? You good, Gareth?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, there we go. Gareth? Yeah.
Right, give me 1 sec. I do apologise. Let me close and then I'll rejoin you. I do apologise.
All good. Sure. No worries. I do want to see if this actually works for me. All right, yeah, it does work. It's perfectly fine. Okay, so yeah, I mean, let's just go back on Ivan Perisic. Comment down below. Do you think Ivan Perisic has had a good season or a bad season? Because 5 assists is good, it's decent, but I think he deserves and needs to get more than 5 assists in a Premier League system, in a Premier League team where it's the actual system, the actual formation all goes down him. Therefore, he's got the ability, he's got the capacity to make the assist. And the amount of times he's been on goal, through to goal. I mean, and he hasn't scored. It's not been great. Let's see if this has worked now. Gareth?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly well now. I don't know what was going on there.
I don't know. I apologize if it's my mic. But yeah, did you want to add something regarding Perisic?
No, just that. Yeah, it's not the person or the player we were expecting. It's unfortunate because we know his quality. So it's just been a poor season all around, really.
Yep, I agree. Let's move on to Ryan Sessegnon now. I mean, yeah, every single time we mention a new player, it just goes down and down and down and down. I do want to mention that it's let's not get one game ahead of ourselves. Even though this player might have played one good game, but overall the season, how well has he played? I would say poor.
Yes, I agree. Simple. I mean, if the boy ain't injured, he's just having a calamity of a match, isn't he?
I mean, I don't think he's ever won an aerial duel. I can't remember.
He don't jump. That's the problem. Whenever he got the ball coming down the left, he don't jump. He expects a deflection or something. He just really.
Yep.
I mean, I don't want to be too harsh on the boy, but a lot of people say give him time. He's had seasons after seasons. How much time does that boy need? I mean, he was class when you think of Ryan Sessegnon, or you think about his Fulham.
100%.
Other than that, he's been poor. Not good enough, really.
Do you think it also could be because the formation of that he's playing in right now just might not suit him? I mean,
when he played at Fulham, he was always on that left wing. He was always attacking. So I mean, when it comes to actually attacking, or Conte's system, should I say, is it should be right down his street. And it's just been poor, man. Really
fair
poor.
enough. I mean, we both agree on that one. I think that's straightforward. All right. I love this man to bits. I really love this man to bits. Lucas Moura. I'm gonna start off and say not quite there. Simply because his time is up. injuries now coming to him. I think he'll always, in my opinion, be a legend at this Tottenham Hotspur. I think the hat trick he gave us in the Ajax is just not talked enough, because that is just insane. And the player itself this season, he's not really done much. Unfortunately, he's not done much, and not quite there would be the perfect category to replace him. What do you think, Gareth?
Yeah, no, and I completely agree. I did a post earlier today about my most iconic match, and
Yeah,
it has to be the second leg, the Ajax, because yeah, mate, that's probably my best game I've ever watched. A hat trick, scoring on the 90 plus 6 minute or something to snatch it to send us to the final. He's an
yeah,
absolute quality player. Oh, nice one, appreciate it.
yeah. All good,
Um,
all good, all good. So
that's
that's the
it, boys and
post.
girls. So yeah, that's the edit. I mean, I love him to bits. I love his energy. He's difficult on the ball as well to tackle. I mean, he's so nimble. His agility's through the roof. It's
Yeah,
unfortunate this season. Yeah, he's getting on. I get that. But
yeah,
he hasn't had much of an opportunity because he's been nursing a long-term injury.
yeah.
But top player.
I mean, I think something you can say about Lucas Moore is that when he came on, um, all he really gave is his pace and his ability to just drive through the defense. But right now, due to his age, I mean, he's not really showing it. So yeah, unfortunately, I say it's not quite there. And thanks for everything, Lucas Moore. Honestly, anything else, Gareth? I mean, yeah,
No, yeah, it's just sad, really. I do, to this day, he should have started the final over Kane. I don't
yeah,
care. I mean, he deserved to start, which he didn't. He only got us. He was the one that got us to the final, and he couldn't start. But
yeah. I
we wish
agree.
him
I
all the
agree.
best, and yeah, I think his time's up, unfortunately.
But what you can take out of this slideshow is you should go drop Spurs News at 17 and follow from that. Fantastic,
Appreciate it, man.
fantastic post. Now, look, let's whiz through these because I think these ones are straightforward. Lenglet. I'm going to go with poor. I think he's been poor.
Yeah, I mean, I see where you're coming from. Yeah, it's poor to solid. It's in
Simply
between. It's in
defensively.
between.
Yeah.
Again, considering it's a player coming from Barcelona, and I mean, when he was at Sevilla, he was shit hot. Hence why we moved to Barcelona. Yeah, he had good seasons with Barcelona, but I don't know. It's just not gelling.
I
Um,
I think it's just maybe it's also because the fact that he's so used to playing under one manager, under a certain system, the Barcelona system, the Barcelona football, that when he comes to Tottenham, he's been awful for the past 2 seasons, also for Barcelona, and we really missed out on these top defenders that we could have signed in the transfer
that's
window.
that's exactly my next point. I think we got long lay purely because we missed out on who we really wanted.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah,
I think Paul.
yeah, I agree. I agree.
All right. Well, this one is just I think straightforward.
Who's that? Bentancur?
Bentancur
Yeah, nothing needs to be said about him neither.
is
Um,
top season.
yeah.
I mean, the
I
guy
mean, even if you
clinches
have to
all.
rank this top, he'll probably be in front of all of those.
I agree.
Um,
I actually 100% agree. Ahead of
uh,
Kane
it's
even.
it's sad times with obviously his ACL injury. Um, but yeah, top
Yeah,
class
yeah.
player.
All right, Eric Dyer.
Poor.
Poor. Yep. Nice.
No, it's
Simply.
just I've said it and I've posted about it as well. Um, they were recently said with regards to offering him a new contract and the person that Conte likes and wants to keep him. I mean, for a player that plays in the central rolling defence, which is probably one of the most important positions to command your defence, I don't
You
think
just
he's
can't
of
do
the
it.
quality. He's just not there.
Yeah.
Last season he had a decent season. I think the season before we thought, oh, maybe he's coming good. But this season, I don't know. It's just
He's not been
yeah.
there. I mean, look. even when he did play well, it was also a little doubt of, oh no, what would he do next? But I
Yeah,
think overall he's had a very, very, very poor season to his standards. To his standards. um,
seriously.
all right, Basuma. mm, mm, I
I'll say,
don't know.
me personally, I'd say poor, because he's a shadow of himself that we saw at Brighton. But then again, obviously,
Yeah.
he's nursed a few injuries here and there as well. I remember Conte saying that he was struggling with the actual tactic side. So again, new players are going to take time to adapt. I get that.
Do you think? Do you
Um,
think it could also be because he's used to being the focal point of the whole Brighton team, and yet here at Spurs, it's not necessarily him.
yeah, it could be that. But yeah, he's a shadow. We know he's a quality player.
Yeah,
I thought he was absolutely brilliant playing for Brighton. But when it comes to comparing Pazuma to Bentancur and Højbjerg, I mean, he's nowhere near that quality just yet. I'm not saying he
I
can't be because he does have the potential, but yeah,
yeah.
this season it just hasn't been great.
All right, Emerson Royale. Now,
Oh
don't
mate,
we can't
uh,
decide it the last game.
it's such a
Go
difficult one. I mean, so many people. I mean, people are
on.
going Emerson should start against Chelsea, which I agree. Which I
Yeah,
agree. Um, But I just remember how many people were hating on the boy before the January transfer window. So many were
yeah,
people going, he's the worst and blah, blah, blah. And then since Pedro Porro's come along, I don't know what's happened. He's actually started playing ball.
yeah,
And I mean, yeah, good on him. Good on him. I mean, competition is healthy. I get that, and yeah, it's good to see. If he can carry on performing like this, I'll be more than happy. But overall, if we had to take the way I look at it, if we had to take this last month away, you'll have
yeah.
to say Paul. You'll have to say Paul.
I agree. I agree. But then you have to take it. You have to take into account that I mean, he didn't have any. It's hard for me. You know why? Because I feel like he never had a real competition. Always, he was always going to go ahead of Doherty, according to Antonio Conte. Now that Pedro Porro is coming, he's giving him a little boost, saying, "Okay, look, I'm going to fight for it
Yeah,
10 times harder as you are." I'm sorry. I think we're going to have to put him in Paul.
yeah. No,
I
but
deservedly
that
as well.
annoys the shit out of me. I mean, why is he trying so hard now just because Porro's there? He should be trying
Yep.
hard all the time, mate. That's why you get
Yep.
paid thousands a week, bro.
I
Like,
agree. I agree. Look, we could be talking about Emerson Ware all day. Trust me, we
yeah,
can.
you know.
Um, but let's go over to the ginger from Sweden, Dejan Kulusevski. I think we're gonna agree on this one. I genuinely do. I'm gonna put him on very good. The reason why I don't think he's been top season because I think he's had um he- I just feel like the last couple of months before the transfer January he injuries and also I just feel like there's something missing. I feel like there's something a little bit missing from there. A top season for me would be him scoring goals match after match, assists all the time. But I think in general the way he's been playing is fantastic, and I think he's had a very, very good season.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I completely agree. When he moved to us last year, Jan, um, he had the most assists or tied on
Yep.
assists, and he was only with us for like 4 months or something crazy. Um, he was out injured for some time, but like I get what you're saying, and I completely agree.
Yeah.
He's very good, but he's in between the top and very good. He's hovering there. He is a
Yeah.
great player, and obviously I'm happy with his performances. But
He's a
yeah,
top of very good, basically.
when it comes to top season, yeah, he's just missed the mark there. So yeah, very
Yeah.
good, I say.
I agree. I agree. Now Fraser Forster, I'm gonna say not quite there.
Yeah, not quite there.
I don't think it's fair to judge him just because he hasn't been playing that
Yeah,
much games, and also when he has played, he hasn't been amazing. So I think
no.
not quite there is fair enough on him. Now,
Yeah, I mean, not quite there
yeah, oh
purely on
yeah,
how many games he's played, but with the games that he has played, it will have to be poor. Um,
yeah.
I mean, especially against City, I don't know. We had the whole team was poor, but that was a nightmare. That, but yeah,
Agree. I mean, Fraser Forster. Look, we brought him in to be a second goalkeeper, decent second goalkeeper. Hasn't really turned out to be so. So now this is gonna hurt me very very much. But we've got Heung-min Son, and I think we both know where we need to put him. We really do need to put him here. I think that he goes here.
yeah.
Do you
No, I
agree?
agree.
Do you want to
Yeah,
say
no, I
something
agree.
about the South Korean?
I mean, we all know, and I've said time and time before, obviously, form is temporary, class is permanent. We get that. We
Yeah,
know he's top quality. We get that. Um, but he's just been a shadow of himself. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, he bagged the goal when he come off his sub. He looked really good for the last 10, 20 minutes. I think he come on the 70th. But
yeah,
overall, the season, it's not the Sonny we know. Not the
yeah.
Sonny.
Do you think now this is a question that's been going on? I don't know. I don't remember if I asked you. Do you think it's because of Perisic? Maybe the fact that Perisic is really coming up the wing a bit too much that's hurting Son, or is that not really? Do you not think
Um,
that's got connected to the other?
Obviously, when we streamed loved previously, I still stand by the lack of creativity in the centre.
Yeah,
Um, there's not enough quality players to get the ball up forward. Obviously, you got Højbjerg and Bentancur. Bentancur, when he gets a chance, yeah, he's not naturally a creative midfielder. There's
yeah,
been loads of times previously when we've had like one shot on goal in like a half, or no shots on goal, or something crazy. But even when you do manage to get the ball to him, I don't think it could be Perisic. Um, but I think it's the whole midfield side of it as such that I don't think he's had enough delivery,
yeah.
quality balls. But even when he's got it, it's just looked
Not
poor.
quite there. Yeah.
Nah,
I think also the first touch just drives me crazy. Whatever, look, it is what it is. He's had a very, 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 very poor season, in my opinion. And now we're on to Davinson Sanchez. The thing is, there's not a category here where I want to place him because a top season 100% not, very good 100% not. I think he hasn't been solid, but when he's come in, he hasn't made that many mistakes except for one game. Poor, I don't think he's been poor,
how
and
many games has he played this season? Not many.
uh,
On the right, because Romero is mostly on the right, and
yeah. Let's see, he's played 13 matches. Now, I'm not too sure how many of those it's actually
yeah, I don't think he
subs.
started many of those. I think a
I
lot of
think we'll
them are
have to put
sub.
him in poor.
Well, with that's why I'm going on with regards to that 13. A lot hasn't been starters. A lot's been off the
Yeah,
subs, off the bench. I would choose not quite there yet, purely because I don't think he's had enough time to
yeah.
play. That's me personally. I think, like you said, it's 13 matches. The majorities come from subs, and I mean, when you see those appearances, he's probably come on at the 75th, 80th minute, 85th minute. I mean, you can't expect a player to put much of a performance with like 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, I kind of agree. But then when I look at his stats, just based on um, how much he's actually impacted in the game, I mean, it doesn't look like he's done much. He's had he's had one yellow card. That means defensively he's not been strong enough and led a goal to go in, or he's just you know just tackled the player to the ground, which has led to a yellow card. Look, I'm just thinking about it in terms of when I watch him. I just feel like I'm I want to put him on top of not quite there because I don't believe he deserves to be not quite there, because I believe someone who's in not quite there is just someone who's, he hasn't had enough time for himself to really try to make a difference. And with Davinson Sanchez, I feel like he's been given a time, been given the ability to make it to make a change, especially now with Romero injured, and that should have changed things. Now, look, do you want to add anything on for Davinson Sanchez?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I don't think there's much to say about him purely because we haven't seen much of him really.
Yeah. All right. So now we're heading over to the last. I'm just trying to sort them out. Last four players. Jaffet Tanganga.
Oh
Jaffet
mate,
Tanganga. It's a shame. It's a shame. You go. You start with it. You go. Start with it.
the boy's just a shambles. There was he had the potential, he had the quality previously a few years back. Um, Obviously when he first come into the team, he looked quite solid. He put in
Yeah.
some solid performances, but there's two games when he started. I don't know what the first one was, but
Did
he
you?
was.
Yeah.
I don't know who we played against, but oh mate, it was a hard watch. He was falling all over the place. He was hacking people half to death.
Yeah.
Um, he was getting beaten in the air all the time. Yeah, he does not fill me with confidence at all.
I agree, but it's a bit annoying because he's like a Tottenham boy. I think Paul is just where you need to put him. Look at this. Look at this. I mean, we're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 players who are in poor or below, and we have not even finished the list. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Richie. What do you want to say about? I mean, look, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna say very, very, very poor. I think
Yeah,
with the amount of money we spent on the player, the expectations we had for him, and he hasn't scored a single game in the Prem. Are you mad? We're already past half the season, and you haven't scored a single goal in the Prem. I think
yeah.
that's out of order. That should be literally illegal to be not scoring a goal in the Premier
We've
League
been
when you're a
robbed.
striker.
Yeah, no, we've been robbed. I mean, he's had an absolute class World Cup. Yes, he was playing up front, which is not going to get much of the opportunity with us due to Harry. But even when he has come on, he scored those two goals in the Champions League. Yeah, they're class performance, but that was one game.
Yeah.
Um, he started the first time he started, or no, is it the first time? But first time I can remember him starting on the left was Son, or for Son, should I say? And he done absolutely nothing on the weekend.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, 60 million, you expect a
So
player to be at least half decent for that sort of money, and he's
all
been
he
the
does is
complete
falls
opposite.
over,
Yeah, no, he hasn't. He
literally.
hasn't done well.
All right, the second to last player, Jed Spence.
Yeah, you got to go. Not quite sure
Yeah,
because he
not.
has had
Yeah,
no chance. It's a pity,
it's a
really,
shame.
because
It's a
yeah,
shame.
no, he's
Straight on, it's a
yeah, I
shame.
see. Obviously, I'm still following him around, and I do a loan update with regards to all the boys on loan. He's
Yeah,
getting some solid minutes at Rennes, which is good.
nice.
Hopefully
It's nice to see
next
because he
season he
finally
gets a bit
showing his
more
true
time.
true colors. Yeah, gone.
Yeah, no, hopefully next season he gets a bit more time,
I agree.
playing time. But
But now
he,
look
he's
at this. Look at this beautiful Emerson Royale playing amazing. Poro, an amazing player, defensively absolute crap. And Jed Spence, fantastic player as well. That is going to be a hell of a fight next year for the right wing back spot.
yeah, look forward to that.
Um, Now the final player, which is Pape Matar Sarr. Obviously, a lot of other players are either loans or they just recently signed, so we cannot really say how they've been playing throughout the whole season. For Tottenham, Pape Matar Sarr, where do you say he deserves to go?
I think he deserves middle ground on solid.
Yeah,
Um, Again, he hasn't had a huge amount of time. Yeah, he's had few games here and there. But when he has played, I mean,
He's
he smashed it against AC. He
yeah.
done really well. And then he also had a quality game against Crystal Palace where he literally had Wilfred Zaha in his pocket. Um, very good. Well, as in his performances, but yeah, I have to say solid purely because again, he's not had enough playing time.
I mean, I also want to say when you mention the word solid, you have to put it into like relatives and relative to for Pape Matar Sarr, he's had a very solid time. I mean, look, whenever he's been got the opportunity, he took it. He actually took the opportunity. Unlike some other players like Jeff Tanganga, he's actually taken the opportunity. And I feel like on this, we can end it perfectly by saying, you know what, fantastic, matches by Pape Matar, and I'm very much excited to seeing him in the future. Any last words on Pape Matar before we do the ending?
Yeah, no, I think he's obviously had a good when he has played, he's performed well. He's got great potential and someone definitely that's worth watching in the future. And I
Yeah.
look forward to it.
100% agree. 100% agree. He's going to be an exciting one to watch in the future. Now, guys, thanks so much for watching. Make sure you check out both of our channels on Instagram, and make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Gareth, it's been a pleasure having you on.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for joining. Where can everyone find you once again?
Instagram, Spurs News N17. Come on, you
Big
Spurs.
up. Come on, you Spurs. Thanks for joining, Gareth. Have a good one. Fantastic. Love having Gareth on board. I don't know why I'm doing this again, but yeah, thanks everyone. Peace.